Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions JP, let's have a look at my latest high-level arena run. As we can see here, I am 25 at the moment. It's Sunday, so I've used all my refreshes. This is the highest I'm going to get. And then I'll keep an eye on the rankings for the rest of the day. And then when I wake up tomorrow, that's when the final ranking will be decided. I'm very sure I have a lock on top 30. I'm tens of thousands of points ahead of the person that would have to knock me out of top 30, so I think we're doing okay. And yeah, top 30, that was my goal. It's totally arbitrary. Between like 11 and 50, you still get the same title, and it's kind of meaningless to aim for just an arbitrary number like 30, but that's the one that I had in mind. That gave me the motivation to keep going this week. And it was max refreshes every day, vision ore and potions. And then I'm Royal rank 12, so I have 15, I think. 15 vision ore refreshes that I can do. And then to get this rank here, this took 2 weeks actually. The arena rank, it's decided after 1 week of play. But the last week, if you saw my videos from then, I was kind of scoping out the map, and I was scoping out the stuff that opponents was using. And I was looking at what I had, and then seeing what I could use to get a good bonus, seeing what I could use to counter other stuff in the arena meta, and then kind of preparing myself for the next week. So that was partly how I was able to get this high rank this week. Like I just said, this is not my first very high arena run. The first one that I did was back in February, and then I have a playlist for videos about my experiences there. I'll also put a link in the comments. But I went very hard in February, and then I got a high score, and then I burnt out on Arena, and I actually didn't play it very hard until here again in May. And that might be how I approach Arena from now. I will do it every few months, and then I'll maybe aim for top 30, because that's kind of a nice, it's pretty hardcore, I have to play pretty hard, but it's not insane like top 10. Top 10 I'm never going to get. I've come to terms with that. But a lot of things kind of just fell into place to make the timing good for this week. I had some bonus stuff. We'll look at that later. I also liked the map. It seemed to kind of fit my playstyle. And then also I kind of felt like maybe it would be less busy this week because there's a lot of new PvE content that came out this week. There was the new tower, there was the lightning selection quests. There's also the tail end of the kind of the raid revival, so I was kind of thinking people would be busy. Maybe I could squeeze in there and get a high rank this week. Still, I had to play very hard, and I played way harder than the first time that I got top 30 in Arena. Either Arena was less popular back then, or like there were fewer players or something, but overall I think Arena has gotten more competitive in War of the Visions JP. And I do get some comments sometimes from global players talking about their top 50 experience, which is great, very proud of you. But here we can kind of compare the results from last week. We can see, yeah, here we have the top 1 from global, 270,000. And then here from last week, top in JP, 300,000. So that's kind of close, actually. But we get down here to 50 in global. That is 74,000. While in JP last week it was 135. That's almost twice. And then I didn't show top 10, but there's a big drop-off in global. But basically, if you play to get top 10 in global, you will end up in top 50 in JP. That's the difference there. There's not a lot of drop-off in JP. And then we can see my result here. I got 137. I didn't start doing the full refreshes until Friday, and I didn't do the potions either, so maybe that's a little bit of helpful info there. And then this video is not technically a guide to high-level arena, how to get a high rank. But during the course of the video I'll probably share everything that I have to say about it anyway, so you can treat it as that. In addition to working harder this time around, as opposed to February, I had a lot more teams. I'll talk about my teams at the end of this video. But before I used let's see, Christmas Moshity, she was in 100% of my teams. And then I always had a fire tank. It was either 99 Rain or 89 Megamon. And then the third character, I used either Loasa or Federica, so that's not very many teams. And then I was able to go against almost everybody and then do pretty well. And then it was the library map, which is going on now in Global, which I really like. It was very easy to manipulate the AI of my team with those stairs. But yeah, let's move on here. I guess here we'll look at the bonuses from this week. And some people ask me, what is the priority? What should you prioritize in order to get a high arena rank? They ask, is it wins, or is it bonuses, or is it win streaks? And the answer is everything. If you want to get top 10, then you have to prioritize everything. The top 50, you really have to pay attention to everything. You don't have to optimize everything, but you should take advantage of everything. And so here, this week, it's kind of cut off, but extra 100%, it is Dress-Up Glaciela, Aerith, and Barret, and then the Laswell card and the Guard Scorpion card. And then for the 75%, Cloud, Tifa, and Gargus, and then the Water Tower card, Phoenix card, Siren card, and Carbuncle card. And so I had to look at that, and I had to sort of build from that in order to get top 50. But there's a lot of stuff I don't have, like Dress-Up Glaciela, Guard Scorpion, Cloud. I have Tifa and Gargus, but they're not leveled. Don't have Water Tower, don't have Carbuncle. So I was looking at Aerith, Barret, Laswell's card, Phoenix, and then Siren. Siren was out because I don't really have any good water characters. Christmas Moshity, I was able to give the Phoenix card to her and get a decent bonus there. But looking at the 100 bonuses, I had Aerith on one team. That was my counter to 2B and Tifa team, so that was great. She was very useful. Barret, unfortunately, I didn't really put him on any teams at all. He's not that competitive, to be honest. We will see him in a few teams, but I never really have trouble with him. If I were to go back and then do this week over again, I might put Aerith onto more teams in order to get more bonus. And then the Laswell card, I'll show you how I used that later in the video. But yeah, I think maybe if you're not aiming for top 10, then using a 100% or 75% bonus something is going to be more important than win streaks. If you get a high win streak, you might get like 50, 60 extra points per run. But if you're using bonus units, then you can get over like 500, maybe even 600, just as kind of that base bonus. And I figure if I'm getting over 500 points per win, that's enough for me, and then I care less about like the maybe the 10% bonus from the win streak. But like ratio of wins to losses, I like at least maybe 5 wins for every 1 loss. If it's like the only person that you can beat, it's like a 50-50, like win-lose, 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 then I would just stop fighting and just wait for something with a better win rate to go against. But yeah, this timing also, it was with the collaboration. I just happened to have like a few options available to me, both in Aerith and Barret. And so the next time I do a hard push in Arena, I am going to wait until I have another couple options of the 100% bonus. It might be another collaboration a few months from now. Probably next week, a lot of these units will still have a good bonus, and I could make another hard run, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take another few month break from Arena, I think. But yeah, the timing on a lot of stuff just kind of fell into place this week, so that's how I was able to do this run here. But yeah, I really like high-level Arena, even if I only do it every 3 or 4 months. It's one of my favorite things in this game. Maybe later this week I will make a video talking about why I like Arena so much. And I kind of had an epiphany this week. Like, the Arena, the high-level Arena, you know, it's its own experience in this game. There's nothing else like it. And it kind of reminds me of like an old simulation or strategy game, if anybody remembers those. I'm not a gigantic fan of those kinds of games, but I can understand the appeal of them. and so I think that kind of explains why I like Arena so much. And then part of why I like Arena is that I'm able to use like my favorite units, even if they're very old, because in Arena you have the most flexibility with team building and also opponent selection compared to the other PvP modes. And again, I'll show you my teams at the end of the video, but yeah, I was able to use some old standbys for units, but also old vision cards. They will cycle back in. Like we see Siren in there as a 75% bonus. That's a super duper old card. That's a launch card. But that's just another reason to want to max, as many UR vision cards as you can. I got into an argument, a discussion, I guess we'll say, on Reddit with somebody who was saying that you have to be very careful in selecting which characters to level, which I agreed with. But this person said you also have to be equally careful with vision cards, which ones you have to level up and max. That I don't agree with for a number of reasons, but UR vision cards are more versatile, and then also you can take advantage of them as the bonus in Arena. So yeah, I just thought I would throw that in there. Important point, I think. And so I feel like everybody should try to get top 50 at least once in Arena. It's a unique experience, makes you think in a different way. It is a commitment. I recommend everybody save up 21 of the Arena potions before they start, so they can do the max every day for a week. And it could be a lot of Vision Ore as well. Thousands and thousands of Vision Ore. But I think if it's just for a single experience, it could be worth it. The title that you get for top 50 is still a turquoise color rather than the magenta color, but people in the know, they will know that it's kind of the turquoise title that commands the most respect. Okay, but here, let's look at the teams that I went against. And I can talk about like what was common in the meta, and then kind of the analysis of the strategy that different people were using. And then I'm going to cut off the usernames of the people. Folks in Japan are very concerned about their privacy, even their username, so we'll cut that off. But thankfully we can still see the rank in the upper right hand corner. So this is a 63. These are all top 100. But here we have a mono lightning team. And then if you look kind of in the shadow in the back there, you can see my team. I'll go into my team in more detail, but here we can look at their builds and stuff. But they got all the lightning vision cards, probably maxed, and good builds, good characters, but my Muraga can stop this team cold, so this was not too hard to win against. Okay, here we have a lightning heavy team with Rain as a tank. Of course, this is going to go against magic teams, but this one I also used my Muraga team. Rain is a better damage dealer, but of course, here I was still able to farm it with Muraga. Okay, here we have a mono ice team. Although it's a mix of magic and physical damage, I was able to put Rain in there, just kind of put a stop on Valentine Salia, and then take down the other guys before they could take down me, so this worked out. But yeah, no tank in this team, so that's a little bit risky. They're going for the kill or be killed strategy. Alright, here's one of the many 2B and Tifa teams that I faced. This is also mono element. I was able to beat this again with my Engelbert Aerith team. Okay, then here, this is the same person that I faced earlier, but they switched out their Rain for Mont. And this is a strategy that I like, to make multiple teams, but switch out the tank in order to face against different opponents. This is probably a team to go like mirror match, lightning versus lightning, cloud versus cloud. Mont, he can take those attacks well. I had good success with Muraga in a similar kind of situation. But all physical attacks here, so I was able to take my Chaperone team with Megamont as my tank in order to take them down. Okay, here's another mono lightning team. Again, Muraga was good against them. Another mono ice team. Here I found that if Valentine Salia was off to the side, I could still bring Megamont and then, get my magic users, my Helena, in order to take the damage from Valentine's Salia, and that worked out well. Okay, another mono ice. This one was not very strong. I think I leapfrogged them pretty quickly, didn't fight them too many times. Oh, but in my JP account, I might want to take Victoria to EX Jobs. She's going to get that later next month. At the moment, I have Barrett at 120 and nobody else at EX Jobs. And then the level 99 ice units that I have waiting in the wings are Agrius and Rosa. So I still don't have a top tier attacker in JP. So Victoria might be able to fill that role for me there. Okay, here's another Tifa 2B team. Again, went with Aerith and Engelbert. This is a pretty stable team build. You got the 2 evade units and then the healer back there. Okay, here we have another mono lightning. But this time I went with Megamont. Maybe my Munaga team wasn't working out here. Lots of projectile. Okay, here yet again another 2v Tifa team. I was kind of surprised that Engelbert Aerith was so consistent against these teams. I always get a little bit nervous when I use a healer or support character in Arena, because I worry that my damage output is not going to be enough, but turned out pretty good. Okay, another mono ice. Again, I was able to use Megamont as my tank because Valentine's Salia was not in the middle. And yet another mono ice. Again, I could use Megamont. I ended up using my chaperone team a lot. It's kind of crazy how much use I'm getting out of Christmas Mashiri. But yeah, it just goes to show that actually there's really good balance in the game. If you use them right, you can use old units, you can use any units. Yesterday, last couple days on Japanese Twitter, a lot of people have been talking about the same thing, how the balance is really good in PvP. And like units like Mua or Luel, who are maybe less popular, still, if you use them in the right way, they can be very powerful. And then in my case, I was using a lot of old units like Rain, Christmas Mashiri, Engelbert, Superstern. Not a lot of other players were using them, but I was using them just fine and getting wins and stuff, so yeah, that was pretty cool. Alright, and then towards the end of the week, and then towards like, top 30 or so, I started seeing a lot more fire. Here's some mono fire. But against teams like this, I was really kind of seeing the difference in levels. Like maybe you saw in a couple of the other teams that I faced earlier, but if characters were like at 115 or lower, I was having a lot more success against them than like the same parties with higher levels. So yeah, Dress-Up Glaciela, even though she has EX jobs, not too much of a threat at 108, so I was able to beat them here. Almost a mirror match. My Helena versus their Glaciela. Okay, here, this was an evade team that I was able to take down using the Secrets of the Heart luck card, which I maxed the day before, so that was good timing. Okay, here was another Glaciela team. And then I used my chaperone team. This one was interesting because I had to watch the matches again in order to see how the people moved. But their starting position, during battle, they would end up on the cross side. They had a lot of AoE buffs, and so they would move across. And so, although I put my Megamont in front of Dress-Up Glaciela, which is not a good matchup, she ended up going the other side, so that worked out. Okay, and then here is the Ice plus Cloud team, which I farmed for most of Saturday and all of today, Sunday. And I was able to get a very good win percentage against them. But I could get like maybe 10 in a row, and then I would lose. And then kind of the deciding factor was reflex. That is sort of the thing that you can't account for, you can't counter. There are a couple characters like Dress-Up Glaciela or Aerith who can lower reactionability percentage, but it's still not really a thing that you can take advantage too much. And so there are two characters here with reflex, Cloud, and then Valentine's Salia, and sort of my win or loss will depend on how often those reflex would go off. So it wasn't the most consistent clear, but this team, it was like so ahead of me points-wise that I could get the max 1.5 multiplier bonus for facing them. And even if I would lose, once every 10 matches, it was still worth it for me to go after them every time. And yeah, I got the bulk of my points off of this team. Alright, and then let's have a look at the one match that I did against them, just to show how I sort of modified my party and my positioning and equipment and abilities on-off in order to get the win here. But both my Super Stern and Cloud have the apron, and I think Super Stern with his EX jobs, his AP management is good enough that he doesn't need to use bells anymore, but hopefully I can make a video about that. But I position my Rain in front of Valentine Salia, and then Helena with her Trustmaster and her barriers. I wouldn't say she's a bruiser, but she's more sort of like able to kind of close the gap. So I was totally okay with her going up there first and then taking a couple hits from guys. And then Rain with his 120 skill, the magic scaled slash, he can do a lot of damage to Valentine Salia. And then Helena can come in with her limit break. She can take down Laswell and Salia after their barriers are broken. We can take a barrage from Cloud just fine, and then we can take down Cloud there with Super Stern. So yeah, that was a good example of using barriers, breaking the opponent's barriers, maybe using damage dealers that you wouldn't expect to close the gap, kind of tie up sort of the biggest threat, which is Valentine Salia with my tank. Take some hits, but not go down, and then do enough damage to the other guys in order to win. But yeah, that is a lot of points. That was with the max bonus. So I got over 500 just as the base ranking point. And then for the 12 wins in a row, I got 80 win streak bonus. But even if I didn't get that win streak bonus, I would be happy with the over 500 points there. Okay, and then finally, let's look at my teams as promised. There was a lot of shuffling that I did with positioning and stuff, so these aren't perfectly representative of what I used at the time, but I'll try to explain as much as I can since my memory is still fresh. But here's my chaperone team. As we can see, there's a little bit of magic resistance on Megamont with the armor and then the Phoenix Vision cards, so 30 there. I did go against Valentine Salia a little bit, as you saw, but also 30% ice resistance, so she wasn't going to one-punch him. And then I have the Omega card on Mont. He doesn't really get any benefit from that, except for the stats there, although 5 Spirit and 3 Agility is nice. But this was to buff Helena, give her some magic resistance as well, give her some HP so that she could take those initial hits. Christmas Mashiri, she's got some slash resistance, and then Helena, that's a pretty basic build for her, slash resistance as well. And her faith is still at 70, so she wasn't doing the damage that she could have been doing. I did say that I took some steps in order to prepare for this heavy, hard arena run, but it's just so annoying raising faith on people, so hopefully this will show that faith is not necessary in order to get top 30 in Arena. Alright, here's my versus Ice team, specifically Valentine Salia, but I got Rain in there. And then this might be surprising, but I am using the Laswell card on Super Stern. And this was purely for the bonus. Again, he gets a little bit of stats, but he doesn't get any of these buffs for the party or bestowed. If your team is well built enough and you're going against the right opponents, you can kind of lose one vision card. Probably this contributed to my losses, my 1 in 10 losses that I had against that last team. But I think it was definitely worth it in order to get the bonus. And that is a strategy, I think, that is worth considering for a high arena run. Okay, what do we got here? Nothing there. Okay, this was my versus Lightning team to go against Cloud, Federica, people like that. And here too, I have the Laswell card just for the bonus. I stopped using this though once I got to top 30. I found it wasn't performing as well as like my chaperone team or my other mono element hunting teams. Here is my Engelbert Aerith team that I use against 2B Tifa. I talked about this in some recent videos. Nothing special to say here. And this one I didn't really use very much. I've said this before, but I'm not getting as much use out of Charlotte as I should be. But yeah, I think those are all my teams. I had 4, basically. Versus 2B Tifa, versus Lightning, versus Valentine Salia, and then just kind of general, my chaperone team. Okay, so that was a look at my recent arena run. Kind of a snapshot of the meta right now in JP. 2 teams that I did not see at all were like Mono Dark and Mono Light, which were very dominant earlier in the year, or at the end of last year. And I feel like Dress-Up Glaciela and then Final Fantasy VII, they did a good job of sort of expanding the meta, making more teams viable. But we got Light Element Jaden coming, so we might see a return of Light versus Dark. That's kind of disappointing, and I'm going to be sitting out Arena for maybe at least the next couple months. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful and interesting for people that are considering a hard push into high-level Arena. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.